This is Money Moves on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Tied at 1 between the Rangers and Mariners as we welcome you back here to Money Moves on VSiN, the sports betting network. Stormy Buonantony, Jonathan Von Tobel with you. How's your prop looking so far?
Well, always good to get at least one run. Over 2.5 earned runs from Kumar Rocker is the play here today. Also got a runner on first with one out. And Rocker right now in a 2-2 count against Garver. So decent start in the sense of we have a run on the board, and Rocker's not exactly mowing through the lineup. So hopefully the Mariners, look, give me a swat right here, and all of a sudden we're over and we're good. So let's get this done, please.
Yeah, still very early in the top of 2. We'll look further into the MLB card a little bit later on in the show after we recap our best bets. Still come this hour as well. Yeah, I'll set it up for you. Be a good teammate. We also will have our Money Moves College Football Top 25 reveal continue today. We are officially in the top 10. I'll tell you why I think this quarterback, if he can reel in interceptions in big games this year, could be not only a Heisman hopeful, but this could be a national championship contending team, hypothetically. Plus, with the LeBron James trade to Philly, how do we think that they will fare in the pecking order of the Eastern Conference? Mike Sealski is going to help us break it all down of Philadelphia WIP.
I'd argue both quarterbacks for both programs today fit that mold.
Fair. We talked about one of them last week already, though. The other one we haven't talked about. However, we will kick things off in the National Football League as our training camp tour continues.
Join Stormy and JVT as they go on the Money Moves NFL training camp tour.
Oh, yeah, baby. We headed into the weekend with a trip to Tampa. Instead of a pirate ship, though, we're taking a pontoon boat.
We are in the boat, by the way. We're right there in the Gulf of America. You can see it. It's a very small
one. So tiny.
Yeah,
it's so good. We are headed over to Who Dat Nation in New Orleans. The Saints 6-11 last year one under Kellen Moore. Finished the season, however, with a surge. Can they pick up where they left off and make their way back to the NFL postseason for the first time in 5 years? What say you, Jonathan Von Tobel?
I will say that I get it. I can see the vision, as the kids would say. The question just becomes, is the vision baked into everything we see in the betting market already enough? I think everything that you want about the New Orleans Saints and whatever they're going to achieve is with every single team in any single league that is wrapped in football is, what's the quarterback? And that was my first question, just what is Tyler Shuck? Because we just don't know. But the data would tell us it's hard to kind of find a red flag. That's what I put in my notes. When you look at what Shuck did last year, 67.6% completion, 7.3 yards per attempt. It's like, it's mundane. It's whatever. But yeah, he's a rookie quarterback. 10 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Committed a turnover-worthy play on just 2% of his dropbacks, which is very good. I mean, overall, you really liked it. And by the way, sneaky athleticism, 125 yards on 20 scrambles yesterday or last year too. So, you really, really like what Tyler Shuck provides. I think you hear the trepidation, the surprise in my voice, and I think a lot of people expressed it too, is I don't know if you really saw this coming. They were widely mocked for picking him where they did. It was not expected that he's going to be overtly successful, but here he is, and you're investing in your offense in a really big way with what you did in the draft and in free agency, and so maybe there is a sign here that this team could really take a big step forward offensively.
And I'll say I think a big part of the optimism that's been created around Tyler Shuck is the improvement that we saw from start 1 to his final start, 1-3 with 5 touchdowns, 5 picks his first 4 games, 4-1 with 8 total touchdowns, 2 picks his last 5, also at a 30 yards per game improvement through the air. And yeah, to your point, ran a little bit more than I expected to, had some flashes, showed the capability to have a few more of those explosive plays, good chemistry with Chris Olave as well, Juwan Johnson, who made a big improvement in his game last year. You do need more outside of just those two, obviously, offensively. And for an offense that was the worst in the red zone of any team in the National Football League last year, there are areas that you need to get better. But to your point about what they did in the draft, I love the Jordan Tyson pickup as a guy who's really speedy and can track the ball well and catch just about anything for your young quarterback. The rushing attack really struggled last year, but you bring in Travis Etienne to help out. And what do you think about Alvin Kamara at this point in his career? Because he only played 11 games last year, and they weren't great. The yards per carry was really low. Can he be the support that you need for Etienne to be a good 1-2 punch?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, look, if he's your 2, I think that's where you're pretty much asking of him at this point right now. I think you're feeling pretty good. But I think the two things you mentioned are pretty related to one another. The struggles in the red zone on top of not being able to run the football. Yeah. You look at what they did last year. They were 31st in expected points added per rush. That obviously has to be better, especially when you're hoping that a second-year quarterback can make a leap. One of the best things you can do is offer him some sort of support with your offense, and you do that by being able to run the football effectively and not having these defenses be like, no, we can play light boxes, stop you on defense with your running attack, and make sure that we're disguising coverage and going after Shuck whenever he drops back. That's going to be pretty big, and we'll see. I mean, I think part of that is the offensive line and how that's going to look for them. It looks like it's going to be a little bit better in what they invested in.
That's what I was going to ask, because that was obviously a part of the issue as well, and the health layer of it too. I think I wrote down everyone but their left tackle missed 3 or more games last year. Up front. So that's a problem. They gave up a bunch of sacks, 25th in the NFL. So if the offense can take some strides, maybe that can be the difference for a team that believes they have a playoff-worthy defense on the other side.
I mean, I think they do, right? There has to be no question that really is going to be the case. You're talking about a team, they were one of the best run defenses in the National Football League overall, pass defense, rush defense, excuse me, I got my notes all mixed up. But 9th overall in EPA per play, 7th in success rate, 12th against the pass, and 2nd against the run. They were awesome. And by the way, that run defense might actually be better. We'll see what the young Christian Miller provides. He was their second-round pick, 10th selection there. So that's a pretty good addition to add in the middle, a young piece as well. So I think that when you look at their ability to play defense, that's why I kind of go back to, I get it, right? If Tyler Shuck is legit, which there's not many signs that are, you know me, we like to really dig under the hood, look at some of these numbers, and, I'll point out, for Marcel Reed on Vote College Football real quick, in the write-up, I was like, on his throws, 10 to 19 yards downfield, and in between the numbers, he only completed 50% of his passes and committed 9 of his turnover-worthy plays. Those are red flags, but you don't really see that. I wrote that voice. And you don't really see that for a guy like Shuck in his overall profile. And this defense, there's no, when did we talk about last week, the team that went on a run last year? Oh, the Jags. We were talking about the Jacksonville Jaguars last week, and you were high on them. And one of the things I pointed out immediately was but that run they went on, there was a bunch of crappy teams. This team was consistently great across the board on defense, and I think that's really a good buy sign for them if their offense is going to be more balanced with that running attack.
Yeah, top 9 in yards per game allowed, 3rd best on 3rd down. We talk about the red zone struggles offensively, top 10 red zone defense on the other side. So a lot of good stuff, and they added to their defensive front in the draft. I love the Christian Miller pickup out of Georgia as a part of that as well. Now let's go to the schedule, because you look at this win total sitting at 7.5. They are obviously a contender in the NFC South as well from a numbers standpoint, because as we have talked about, we've gone through every team in this division now, that in my opinion, I know you disagree to an extent. You can kind of throw a dart here. This is a division that really is up for grabs in a lot of ways, but they have the 2nd or 3rd easiest strength of schedule in the NFL this year. There's no great team in the division. They don't play any games on Thursday night. They do have one international game, but they get a bye following that trip. And the 3 teams that differ on their schedule from the rest of the division are last place teams that weren't great. You get the Raiders, Cardinals, and Giants compared to, example, for the Panthers when we did that preview, where they get the Broncos, Seahawks, and Eagles. So could the schedule be something that sets New Orleans apart in your mind? Yeah,
potentially. And by the way, we actually agree on the premise of the NFC South. To use your analogy, though, what we disagree on is where we're going to aim that dart. I want to aim at Atlanta. You believe it's Carolina.
I like Carolina and Tampa.
Correct, yeah. But the whole premise, and that's actually why you do technically agree with me, is plus 425 will take Atlanta, because I think this division is just all up in the air. So I understand everybody that would want to bank in on New Orleans, but I think you're right. And you mentioned the notes; those are in the NFL Guide. It's a great write up there. I think it was Adam who wrote up the NFC South, if I remember correctly. Adam Burke, our managing editor, about the fact that the rest disadvantages are not really there. The fact that they decided to get the bye after taking on the Steelers in Paris. I don't know if this schedule is easy enough and they are good enough that it's going to be the advantage that, the Eagles in years past, the Patriots last year can really take advantage of to that extent. But maybe this is a New England Patriots type of thing here, where you're talking about a big second-year leap for a young quarterback that had some really good signs against one of the easier schedules in the NFL. Again, to that point, this is the second easiest schedule in the NFL, and maybe they're going to be able to just leap up the standings because of that. But I would also say this, Stormy, would you agree with it? Do you just wait? Do you wait until week 3 when you take on the Raiders? Because there's a better chance than not, right, that they're 0-2, taking on the Lions and taking on the Ravens to start the year, both on the road, correct? Then maybe that's when you want to dive in on some futures for New Orleans, because those are some pretty stiff tests to open the year, and I don't think any of us would be stunned if they start the season 0-2.
Do you not think that that's assumed already in the pricing?
I mean, I don't know if it's assumed to an extent. I mean, the schedule has everything is assumed in there, but I would assume that you're going to get, and especially what if any of these other teams in the NFC South get off to 2-0 starts, whatever it is, your odds are going to adjust to some sort of extent. Probably not that much, but maybe they're going to. And look, I'll just say this too, again, because this team is good. It looks like it's got everything trending upward. If you do start 0-2, that is a Raiders team that at least is looking more competent by the day, and that is some dangerous territory heading into a Monday night game against the Atlanta Falcons the next week.
I would say also, just from an award standpoint, Kellen Moore is a fourth shot on the board right now at 12-1 for Coach of the Year. Oof. But that, you imagine, with an 0-2 start would probably creep up a little bit as well, depending on how the season goes. John Harbaugh is your favorite, 6-1. Jesse Minter and Robert Saleh, both 10-1 before you hit Moore at 12-1 and Todd Monken at 14-1. And I just saw you celebrating. So does that mean you got your...
No, the Rangers are winning, though. Jock Peterson with another home run, his second of the day. And the Rangers are up 4-1 over the Mariners.
Beautiful. Anything else that you want to hit on the way out here about the New Orleans Saints?
Maybe we can carry this to another day, too. But Jordan Tyson, 750-plus receiving yards at -125. Maybe a contender for Offensive Rookie of the Year as well. That's going to be one I think that's definitely worth monitoring here. He's 6-1, about the fourth shot on the board to win the award.
While we're talking football, you've mentioned it a couple times. The guide is out and available right now. If you go to vsin.com/subscribe, there's only a couple days left for our early football season special. To get this pricing, $175 gets you unlimited access to everything we do at the network from now through the Super Bowl. So in addition to the NFL betting guide that's out now, the college football betting guide that's coming out next week, where you can read all of the write-ups in JVT's voice.
That's a good voice, huh?
You will also get the AI prop projections, the betting tools, the unlimited articles, and of course the vsin.com/picks page as a part of that as well.
I did write that too, by the way, about Marcel Reed's throws, 10 to 19.
Yeah, but you wrote it like this. We got to step aside here on Money Moves. When we return, though, actually shifting gears into a little college football as our top 25 rolls on.
So you're listening to this podcast because you want an edge. But what if I told you you're only halfway there? You've got the mindset. Now it's time to get the toolkit to match. Here's the thing. Pro bettors spend thousands on data and tools. But what they don't want you to know is that you can get the same edge for a fraction of the cost with VSiN Pro. VSiN Pro gives you access to expert picks, public betting data, prop projections, powerful tools, analytics, and more. Just tap the link in the description and see why thousands of bettors are already using VSiN Pro to cash more bets.
You're watching Money Moves here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
We're cruising on this Monday edition of Money Moves, VSiN, the Sports Betting Network, Sirius XM channel 158. Remember, if you missed any of the show, you can always download Money Moves in podcast form wherever you get your podcasts. Listen on your own time. He's Jonathan Von Tobel. I'm Stormy Bonantoni. You said we got a good tweet?
We do. This is from, let's see, Nate B. Saucy. Enjoy it.
Ooh,
and
like
says,
that.
Can I interest you in a pizza money bet for Chase Young to win Defensive Player of the Year at 150-1? Talk about the New Orleans Saints, how good the defense has been, and if this team is going to be any good, would he be the one that gets all of the credit for that dominance? I don't know if he would be good enough in terms of his counting stats to get that done.
Double-digit sacks in 12 games last year.
Yeah.
So I guess if you could put a full season of that together and build on it. I saw he was on PFF's All-Pro watch list this year. Yeah. So the expectation, I think, at large being he could take another step. That's a good number to get on a guy like him if you think he takes that step.
On a good defense.
Sure. Brandon Staley, year 2.
Yeah. I was looking at this right now. I think what you really want, though, is, like you said, 12 games, only 542 snaps. Like, you need him to be more available because those are not going to be – that's good and that's productive. That's not going to be anywhere near enough to win the award.
But he plays the right position, right? Yeah. Like, you want an edge rusher or a defensive back that's going to get a lot of interceptions and pass breakups. Like, those are the big money stats that you need for that award.
What was Shuck to win
100-1.
MVP?
100-1, yeah.
No,
you
Defensive Player of the Year. No. No, I'm just saying, I mean, I made the brief comp of, what's it called? You know, the Drake May New England Patriots thing, but I don't think it may be the craziest thing in the world.
Good question. Appreciate it. Remember, if you want to chime in and ask us any questions or give some thoughts about the things that we're diving into, you can tweet at us, at MeJVT, at Storm Bonantoni. We've also got the Money Moves email, moneymoves@vsin.com. That said, it is time to get back into a little college football talk as our preseason top 25 rolls on.
This is the Money Moves College Football Top 25 Rankings.
Yes, it is. The countdown to college football is on, and we have officially cracked the top 10, coming in at number 9. The USC Trojans. If you ask Lincoln Riley, JVT, despite this team not having made the college football playoff in his tenure to this point, he thinks this team is built to win a natty in 2026. 5th year with the program. Last year, obviously, we saw them take a step. The offense was elite, finished 3rd in the country in yards per play, 9-3 regular season. All 3 losses, though, come on the road to teams who are nationally ranked. Wasn't enough. Can they get to the level people expect and have expected since Lincoln Riley took over for this program to be nationally?
You know, I hate to say it, as an ultimate hater, sure, yeah, I think so. First and foremost, the returning production on offense is in all the important places. I believe the entirety of your offensive line returns. That's really good. Jaden Mayava is back as well after a really strong season of growth. We've talked about him a lot too. So with those in place specifically, I think you're feeling pretty good about that. Then you get into the important stuff, the minutia, which is you were getting really, really excited about the schedule for Penn State. I think you got to be pretty excited about the schedule for USC. They do have to take a loss when they go out there to Happy Valley to play those Nittany Lions because they're such a dominant force, according to you. But maybe
that is going to be a whiteout game.
Yeah, outside of that, as I say that sarcastically for anybody who's freaking out about it, they do have to play Oregon, they do have to play Washington, and they do have to play Ohio State. But the commonality between all 3 of those opponents, Stormy?
Get them at home.
That's right. So you should be able to, I think, take 2 of those potentially. We'll see if you can. But I think everything sets up for this team with the continuity and the talent they have on offense that maybe this is the year that you're finally starting to see this team break through in the Big Ten. And by the way, so we have selective different memories of things. You remember different events. I had sworn that USC had made it to a college football playoff, but they have not.
They have not.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, that's.
I keep thinking. I think I'm confusing them for Washington the year they got boat raced by Alabama.
Well, and Caleb Wilson, Caleb. Oh my God.
Caleb Wilson?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, not Caleb Williams.
Okay.
Wilson.
Williams. What are we doing?
Williams,
here?
yes. God.
Okay.
I got basketball in the brain more recently. No, Caleb Williams wins a Heisman, right? So you think of him in that context.
Sure.
And when they were going for Pac-12 championships when the league was in the previous iteration, it makes sense that you would think that.
Well, the other is, if I remember correctly, too, a few years ago, quite a few years ago now, I'm also mixing up. Didn't they have an opening game against Alabama where they got absolutely smoked one year? And I think I was thinking of that as a college football playoff game as opposed to just a regular season matchup. Either way, I was stunned to hear that. But this could be a year that you do it in the expanded field with opportunity. I would say, do you tell me if I'm wrong, you got to take 2 of those 3 that we were discussing, Oregon, Washington, and Ohio State. But the fact you get all 3 of them at home, it's going to help out your resume because I don't think a 3-loss USC with all 3 losses coming to Oregon, Washington, and Ohio State is going to have a strong enough resume to make it into a CFP.
So here's my thing. 2 things stood out about the losses last year if we're just looking surface level, like basic stats, right? Jaden Mayava was turning it over in those games, and the defense couldn't offset the turnovers. They gave up 30-plus points in all 3 of the regular season losses. So where they need to prove us wrong is defensively, because you have to take strides there. They had 8 games last year. They gave up 21 or fewer points, 8-0 in those games. The 5 games that they gave up 30-plus, they're 1-4. The run defense was rough. These are areas that you need to take steps up, especially with the fact that Danton Lynn, your former DC, is actually at Penn State now. But they
keys to the code.
They made a good hire there that everybody's excited about, and Gary Patterson. And so we'll see if that ends up making a difference. I am very high on Jaden Mayava, though. And I think and hope that he ends up being able to reel in the turnover issues in those big games.
And
because what?
Turnover-worthy plays.
Well, that's what I'm talking about, right? And it showed up more than anywhere else in the big gotta-have-it games. And if you want to be a Heisman contender, if you want to be a college football playoff contender, a Big Ten conference contender, those are things that you have to clean up because he was great in other areas, and this offense should be wonderful again under Lincoln Riley. Yes, you lose your 2-star receivers to the draft in Mekhi Lemon and Jacoby Lane, but you bring back both of your lead rushers. The number 3 wide receiver, Hines, is back, and they have huge high expectations for him. You get NC State's top wide receiver as well that you bring into the room. You mentioned the offensive line back. There's a lot of reasons to be excited about this team, and I am one of them, and I'm a believer, and I hope that Jaden Mayava now in this 3rd year, in the system and in that role can take the step that you need to.
Yeah, so I think that we like to do okay, what's the bet here? I wouldn't say no to Maeva Heisman at 25 to 1. Like, again, he's got the skill set, to your point. Turnover worthy play rate in all 3 of his seasons as a quarterback in college football has never dipped below 4.6%. It's a really high number. So, like, those have to be cut down. But the skill position's there, the skill set for himself is there, and they're a team that potentially could win 10 games, 2 losses, compete in the Big Ten, and make it to the college football playoff. To me, also, plus 240 to make the CFP. Also maybe worth looking at if you're high on them, as I am, and I think you are too.
Led the Big Ten in pass yards last year, 24 touchdowns, 6 rushing touchdowns, second best QBR in the country. And again, now having a lot of experience in that system, I think could make a difference. Okay, let's look ahead to number 8. It is the Oklahoma Sooners, and when I teased this segment, you said you have a similar thought from a Heisman standpoint about Oklahoma and John Mateer. Why?
I mean, you can't deny the skill set for Mateer and what he can potentially be. And so this is another team, an example, I've said this a couple of times today, where when presented with new information or I come in thinking one thing about these teams, I'm willing to be moved if I learn a little bit more. And as I put, again, we have our 3 burning questions for the guide. As I put it for Oklahoma, is a healthy John Mateer going to be better? And the way I put it is, you can't deny the clear line of demarcation in Mateer's season.
Yeah.
Through the first 4 games of the season, he completed 67.6% of his passes. He averaged 8.5 yards per attempt. He threw 6 touchdowns and 3 interceptions, and Oklahoma was undefeated. Then he hurts his hand, and then everything just falls off the face of a cliff.
The velocity's down, decisiveness was down, decision-making, like all of that stuff struggled.
He can be a better decision-maker. His 16 turnover-worthy plays from week 3 and onward were 3rd most amongst SEC quarterbacks in that stretch. So that's got to be better. I don't care about your broken hand. Decision-making is not affected by a broken hand, so you can't put the ball in danger as much as you did when you were a quarterback. But the other part of this, too, is, and this was surprising kind of sifting through the numbers, first off, Oklahoma as a whole could not run the football last year. So you've got to be better at that. They were pretty awful in that regard. But the usage of Mateer was also weird as well. In 2024, he ran for 1,000 yards and 15 touchdowns. He actually just had 565 on only 15 fewer attempts last year. So he was running at the same rate, but nowhere near effective. And you wonder if they're going to change that as well. Because if they can, and it all hinges on him, this offense and that running game, they bring back 7 guys on a defense that was quite literally the best in the country. If this offense creeps back toward average, finds some explosiveness, finds Mateer's game that was similar to Washington State, and his offense coordinator from there is there, the sky, or the ceiling is the roof, if you will. The sky is the limit for Oklahoma in the grand scheme of things, I think.
Yeah, to your point, defense was elite. They finished the season 6th in FBS total defense, led the SEC, and obviously with Venables as your head coach, that's your strength. But to your point about the run game issues last year, they clearly this offseason made a conscious effort to take some pressure off of John Mateer and bolster up that unit. 4 returners up front on the offensive line. And so you have to hope that that takes a next step, which I think is very realistic to your point. When John Mateer is healthy, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the country, and 28 to 1 the odds that we see for him for the Heisman. As we're previewing all things college football and talking NFL, we've got Major League Baseball in full swing, the WNBA back in action once again. The sports calendar never stops, and the Sharp Plays is covering it all, and they have been winning for 15 straight years, all of it documented, logs posted publicly as well over at sharpplays.com. We know that kind of transparency can be rare in the industry. When the Sharp Plays move, sportsbooks take notice. They've got advanced AI, trusted insider intel, and they're finding value before numbers shift. So can you. Start winning with them over at sharpplays.com today. That's sharpplays.com. One last note on Oklahoma, though, and we talked about it a lot last week when we were previewing the SEC, an absolute gauntlet of a schedule. So be prepared and make sure you take a look at that as well. We got to step aside. More money moves after this, talking NBA with Mike Sielski.
You're watching Money Moves here on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Will adding King James get the city of brotherly love and NBA crowned this coming season? The betting market will certainly tell you they're a contender. Went from 70 to 1 to win an NBA title to 18 to 1 following the Jaylen Brown trade. Now 9 to 1 following the LeBron James news, tied for 3rd on the odds board to win it all after signing a 2-year, $8 million deal. To help us break it all down, Mike Sielski joins us here on the Progressive Guest Line, Philly sports writer and personality, catches column at the Philadelphia Inquirer, host on Philly Sports Radio 94 WIP as well. What's going on, Mike? How are you? And how is the city taking the news?
The city, Stormy, is still in ecstasy. We haven't even moved out of the honeymoon stage into the okay, what might go wrong stage. It is still celebration all over the place that LeBron decided to become a Sixer.
I mean, your governor declared a holiday in LeBron's honor already.
The governor came on my radio show on Saturday. That's how excited the governor is about these things. It's really unlike anything I've seen. I grew up in and around Philadelphia and have worked here for a long time. I don't think there's been anything like it in the history of Philadelphia sports. I really don't. To have somebody of this, and nobody really approaches LeBron in terms of fame and moving the cultural needle and all that, and to have someone like that pick Philadelphia late in his career to play, it's unlike anything we've seen before.
So we tracked this a lot from the betting market standpoint, and Philly at one point was an odds-on favorite to land him in faraway places, but that eventually came back to the pack. How surprising was this from your purview? Was this expected at some point that maybe he could come? Because, Mike, it does seem like it's a shock that he picked Philly, and I don't think it's just because it looks weird in the Sixers uniform. Despite the fact that they were one of the finalists, this still does seem surprising.
Yeah, I think it's surprising for people around here, Jonathan, because there's something in the water in Philadelphia that makes everybody go, pick us. And we're always kind of surprised when an athlete does. And look, you could definitely look at this from a strictly basketball standpoint and say to yourself, absolutely, LeBron should have picked the Sixers. They just got Jaylen Brown. They already had Tyrese Maxey and VJ Edgecombe. And if they can get anything from Joel Embiid that approximates what he was 2 or 3 years ago, then, yeah, that would be the perfect spot for LeBron. But I think to all of us here who aren't total NBA insiders and knowing exactly what's going on through LeBron's head, we looked at it and said, well, if he's got a chance to go back to Cleveland or Miami, that would be a little more sentimental. He's more familiar with that. And the other thing, too, is if he had gone back to either of those teams and that team ends up losing in the second round of the playoffs next season, it's not a blemish on his legacy at all. People there already love him. Cleveland loves him. Miami loves him. Here, if the Sixers don't win a championship, there are going to be people around here who look at this and say, well, LeBron was a failure in Philadelphia.
It's such an interesting conversation. Obviously, it's a city that has been yearning for an NBA title for such a long time. And LeBron, this whole conversation, we talked about it last week. We thought this was being a happiness-led decision that he would go elsewhere. But clearly, happiness to him means reestablishing and confirming his legacy and adding another NBA title in another place. And it's very unique, I think, compared to a guy like Jordan, right, who does it all in the same spot, to be able to go to various different places and be able to add another one. In your opinion, when you do look at the NBA this year, where do the 76ers stack up in the pecking order now that they have added not only LeBron, but Jaylen Brown as well, and your personal expectations in the Eastern Conference and for a title?
Yeah, I think they're obvious contenders within the Eastern Conference. I love the contrast between what they have done to kind of rebuild themselves very quickly and what the New York Knicks did to win the title last year and what they're going to try to do going forward, right? It's the ultimate. You let all the ingredients marinate for a long, long while, even before those ingredients are in the NBA, when you're talking about guys like Jalen Brunson and Mikal Bridges and Josh Hart, versus, oh, okay, we're just going to go get Jaylen Brown and we're going to go get LeBron James, or LeBron James going to choose to come here, and we're going to add that to Maxey and Edgecombe and Embiid. Look, would it surprise me if the Sixers made it to the finals and won a championship? No, it would not. I want to see how this goes. One of the big discussion topics in Philadelphia has been, oh, this is just like when the Sixers got Moses Malone back in 1982. It was obvious back then that Sixers team only needed one component, and it was exactly what Moses Malone brought, and it became one of the best teams of all time. This is not so clear. It's going to be a circus. It's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting. That does not guarantee that it's going to work. And if Embiid can't be anything close to what he was, if Jaylen Brown is feeling a certain kind of way because he wanted to be the centerpiece and now he's one of an ensemble, then who knows what's going to happen.
So I'm curious your thoughts from a basketball perspective, going down this depth chart and looking at this starting five. Mike, you can see the makings of like Tyrese Maxey, VJ Edgecombe, Jaylen Brown, LeBron James. Those four getting out in transition, being athletic, running up and down. Seems like they'd be very effective, but then you get to Joel Embiid. What are the chances that Embiid is actually like the odd puzzle fit here? Because this looks like a team and a front office that is specifically building around Tyrese Maxey. Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong, Jonathan. And yeah, I think that's an issue that they're going to have to figure out how to address. And more importantly, and I'm literally writing this in a column for the Inquirer right now, it's something that Joel is going to have to figure out. how to address. For 12 years, he has been the centerpiece of this franchise. The way he went was the way the franchise went. And it's not that way anymore. Maxey had already kind of taken him over as the fan favorite in town. It didn't take VJ Edgecombe long for people to start loving him. And you're right. They can go, this starting five can go up and down the court, but Embiid can't. And I think what he's going to have to do, and what the Nick Nurse and the coaching staff and LeBron and Jaylen Brown are going to have to figure out to do, is how to take advantage of what he's doing well. Are there going to be nights where they say to themselves, Joel, tonight is the night that you got to win us this game because we're going up against a Nikola Jokic or another premier big man in the league, and we can't beat this team without you. I think that's what is going to come down to. I don't think it's going to be, hey, we need a great Embiid every single night, because A, you can't count on it, and B, they may not need it.
There was the other part that I think is pretty interesting, and Brian Windhorst alluded to this on ESPN. I don't know if you have any insight either, but it seems like LeBron and Jaylen Brown, despite the Bronny comments at the Summer League out here a couple of years ago, might have either a mutual respect or LeBron wanted to play for him. Have you gotten that sense yet at all? Because it seems like that was maybe the case here for LeBron to an extent.
Yeah, I've been told by someone familiar with all those discussions that, Jaylen did contribute to the push, kind of the peer push that Embiid and Tyrese Maxey were putting on LeBron to come here. Look, the Sixers had a lot in their favor in this process. Bob Myers has as much credibility and cachet as an executive as anybody in the league. Mike Gansey, their new general manager, had known LeBron from their time together at Cleveland. But it was Embiid, from what I understand, Embiid and Maxey, and to a lesser degree Brown, who are really kind of putting the campaign on here to try to get LeBron here, and it looked like it won him over. And, LeBron was teammates with Embiid at the Olympics in 2024, and we all watched Joel kind of slog up and down the court and thought, oh, my gosh, is he going to collapse at any point? But that team doesn't win a gold medal without Embiid dominating Jokic in the second half of the semifinal game against Serbia. And whatever their interactions were during those few weeks, it clearly wasn't enough for LeBron to say, you know what, I can't win with Joel Embiid. He clearly thinks he can.
Micah, Adam Silver recently made the comments that they were waiting on the LeBron decision to finalize a lot of pieces to the NBA schedule, which naturally has everybody trying to mix and match and guess where certain games are going to be. Do you think that we get either Knicks Sixers or Knicks Celtics on Christmas, so that we either have the Jaylen Brown return or a game at the Garden with LeBron when the NBA world, or casual fans turn their eyes more to the NBA world on Christmas? What do you think?
Stormy, I honestly think Adam Silver would be completely happy with Knicks Sixers and Celtics Sixers on Christmas Day, the way this worked out. I really do. I mean, this could not have been better. You might just see LeBron and that crew twice, once in the morning, once on Christmas morning and once on Christmas Eve.
Before we get you out of here really quickly, bench-wise, what do you think of what they have the last 90 seconds? Do you think that's going to be enough?
It's better than what they had last year. They were able to beat the Celtics in the first round. Now you've added Wade. The first round pick looks like a kid who can contribute. So, I think they're deeper than they've been in a while. It's going to be fun to watch.
Mike, thank you so much for the time. We really appreciate it. And enjoy the honeymoon time while it lasts.
I'll try, Stormy. Thanks, guys.
I know our producer, Justin Emery, certainly hopes that LeBron and Jaylen Brown get them all the way.
I think Rocky's a bad movie. We didn't have time to talk to him about that. Yeah.
So did you see his book?
I did.
Yes. Missed opportunity.
He was nice. We had a good relationship. So maybe now that we've established a relationship, we can bring him back.
Yeah, it's for the best we didn't bring it up day one.
We can debate wholeheartedly. Have you watched it yet?
No, I did not do the homework
assignment. You got a lot of homework. I've assigned you 3 things.
But what we're saying here, by the way, Mike is also the author of a book, Going the Distance. It's Stallone, Philly, and the story of Rocky.
Yes.
And so very curious what his thoughts would be on JVT's grade of the film.
I wonder if he contributed to that movie, too, the one that's going to come out. So your homework assignments have been, you have to watch Rocky, you've got to read my burning questions for the SEC, and you have to watch the entirety of Dave Chappelle's Player Hater Ball.
I have a lot to do.
I mean, the Player Hater Ball is like 7 minutes.
Well, I swear, I must have seen that in the past because I've watched all the Chappelle Show stuff. I just don't remember that one. Okay, we got to step aside here on Money Moves. More coming up after this, and we will update you on this Rangers-Mariners action as well.
You're watching Money Moves here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Wrapping up this Monday edition of Money Moves live from downtown Las Vegas, Circa Resort and Casino. Reminder, the Circa Survivor documentary is back, bigger than ever, with $18.7 million on the line, and a look at the new Grandissimo format, raising the stakes. You got to check it out if you missed episode 1. Remember, you can watch it on your own time, on demand, on YouTube. Just search VSiN Live. Episode 2 airs this coming Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern. Every agonizing moment of opening weekend, plus some early winners, losers, and storylines that shaped the season. Whether you are playing Circa Survivor each and every year, you just love the drama, you won't want to miss it. Again, each and every Wednesday, moving forward, 9 p.m. Eastern on VSiN, or you can catch up anytime on YouTube. VSiN Live, VSINLIVE is how you can find it. And shout out Chris Foley, actually, who tweeted at me just a couple hours ago saying how much he loved episode 1 for the season, and that he's going to use season 1 bleeding into season 2 for his treadmill binge watching as he gets set for the new episodes to unveil. Pretty cool.
Cool. Like it. And you were in episode 1?
Yes, my father and I. So Rich Bonatoni got a little TV time, which was nice. And I'm curious to see how much we're going to get, because we did not last long in the Survivor contest. This is the one thing that is always my gripe every year, is when I'm knocked out and they still want to interview me. I'm like, guys, I'm too depressed to do these interviews.
It's just such a burden to be so famous.
Stop
and popular.
it right now.
You just don't know what I go through.
I'm curious if some of the spot that we did together will make one of the episodes, because I forced you to do an interview with me, beverage in hand.
Yeah. I was pretty lubed up that day, so hopefully they don't.
It is really fun, though, to be reminded a little bit of how last season transpired. And I mean, the early exits and the chaos of the season, it really does get you gassed up for what's to come this year. And week 1 will be here before you know it. We're 6 Sundays out now from the NFL.
Speaking of being gassed up, make sure that you get ready for the NFL season with our training camp previews. Our training camp tour has a special section up on the VSiN Watch app. So go ahead, check it out. Every single team will be put up there.
Absolutely.
And also, I mean, I would argue, you know, are
we 7 teams in right now?
Well, yes, we're 17 teams in, but I was going to say that I would argue, something I think a little bit less than that.
6? I think 6, yeah.
The Hall of Fame games are right around the corner.
Yeah.
The NFL is here. Football is here. We are very much like right at the cusp of football being back.
Yeah, and this weekend, I know we've been doing our college football top 25 breakdowns as well, but Big Ten Media Day starting tomorrow, so that's just another conference that we can dive into as we roll along here. Last little bit, let's recap the best bets from the weekend and look ahead a little bit to the baseball slate we have still coming up today. For me, the 3M Open, hit and miss. Obviously, I had Scotty Scheffler in the outright. That does not come home, but the top 5 does. Tom Kim doesn't get there for a top 10, but the top 20 cashes. So little profit on the PGA Tour for the 3M Open. And then how about AZ Fudd?
Fudd around and find out.
I only did to make the 3-point contest final, but she wins it all. And so that we had a good read on that, because she was the only person that we really were like, yep, it's probably AZ Fudd.
I mean, like we said, if you just go back and watch the 3-point contest, the motion is super smooth. And like you said, you went and did the legwork. She's used to playing in these contests as well. The ability to go from like rack to shot and really do it easily. I think that gave her a really big advantage. Clearly, what a 30-point final round is eventually what it was. So absolute killer. And probably one would argue, as long as she's going to be in some of these contests, that she should be the favorite and maybe would be the bet almost every single year, just considering how good she is. And then
her shot's so pretty, too. It's like just a beautiful stroke.
Called out Steph Curry afterward, see if she can compete with him again. We'll see if Kathy Englebert's the one extending invitations next time, though.
Let's talk about that on Friday with Mike, shall we?
Yes.
You didn't have anything over the weekend, correct?
Closing. The walls are closing. No, I did not.
Okay.
We're going to get back on track here, but we had a lot of work we had to get done on Fridays and in the days. So
yes, that was your college football betting guide deadline.
Yes,
was Friday, so you were hustling.
But I will say again, to promote it, I mean, I know my colleagues did as much work as I did, more. Adam did a ton. But I think it's going to be really good, and I cannot wait to see what our college football guide looks like. So to me, it was a labor of love. I really enjoyed it, so I'm very much looking forward to see what my colleagues wrote, and make sure you check it out, VSiN.com.
Yeah, a lot of legwork goes into it, and in addition to all of the individual team and conference write-ups, obviously all of our hosts and analysts will have their picks for who's going to win each respective conference, write-ups for various bets that we already have in pocket or are adding or will add today. So one of which, I've already done a couple of them on the show, so you'll see them in the betting guide as well, and we'll rehash them. We'll rehash them on the program. Last few minutes, there are a handful of interesting games today in Major League Baseball. One we glossed over a little bit, just as we had the conversation about Cy Young with Jacob Mizorowski's day yesterday. But Zach Wheeler in action today for the Phillies, taking on the Marlins, who are on a pretty ugly stretch right now of 12 straight losses, as you shake your head because something bad happened.
Because Kumar Rocker is giving up hard contact, but it's going to every single defender possible. Gives up another pretty decent one. I don't know if that was a straight barrel, but was flying out the center, but just, lofted just right nicely into the glove of a defender. So Rocker cruising right now, had an 8-inning pitch or a 12-inning pitch, 12-pitch inning, and then an 8-pitch inning. So they are making contact, but it's not anywhere. And I'm sorry, the Phillies is what you wanted to talk about.
Yes, as I say, maybe you can look to Tyler Phillips on the other side for Miami, see if you can.
No, look, this is just all about whether or not Wheeler's going to deliver here against the Marlins. The guy has been absolutely untouchable for a very long time now, and so really it's just about how good has he been and what's the pricing going to be like. This bum last time out had the audacity to see his 3-game stretch of double-digit strikeouts come to an end with a paltry 9 last time against the Los Angeles Dodgers. So this bum had to go out there, 7 innings pitched, only struck out 9 Dodgers batters and gave up 2 earned runs.
Pathetic, so
I know,
terrible.
Should be eliminated from Cy Young contention for it. But just look at where you're getting priced at this point right now. You're $184 on the road, considering how well he has been pitching. I know, again, to reiterate, our producer Justin, who bets these markets every day, likes him to lead the day in total strikeouts, which would make some sense against this Marlins team. But as we discussed when we get to these points where teams, pitchers, whatever it may be, are so good that they're being priced to the way they are, in theory, could you say that there is value in Tyler Phillips and the Marlins at some of the prices that are being offered on them? Sure. If you're getting in the range of plus 165, which is being offered out there, I think it makes some sense that the number itself would be worth playing. But congratulations, you then need to beat Zach Wheeler. And that's just a really difficult ask.
Let's go to your Angels here for a moment, because Walbert Urania is back on the hill, and
Say his name with some respect.
A pretty solid last few starts, though. So are you buying in on him again today?
A pretty solid last few starts. That's hilarious. He has not given up more than 2 earned runs in his last 3 outings, Stormy. Okay? All right? More than a single earned run in all of those.
I was setting you up to give your information.
14 2/3 innings pitched in his last 3 outings. He has been tremendous. Now, the good thing for him in the last start was that the walks were absolutely gone. 5 strikeouts to 1 walk, but we know what Urania's issues are. He will throw out some wonky pitches. He'll rack up the pitch count, and he'll probably put some guys on base. So I think that against this lineup for Houston, you're probably expecting that even if they don't really destroy him here, that you can make the case that, you know what? Probably a small play on a dog price on Houston, or maybe if you wanted to go earn run over, like we played with Rocker here, or a team total over for the Astros. The Astros are a good enough lineup that if you're going to rack up your pitch count, if you're going to get wonky with command, if you're going to put guys on base, then they're going to be good enough to make you pay for it. So maybe isolating Houston versus Urania here. And just look at the pricing, too, like we're talking about. I mean, circa, you saw this on the overnight open up in favor of Houston minus 118, but the market has swung in favor of the Angels, at least where we're sitting right now. I think you can make the argument that you're probably at a point where maybe similar to what we talked about with Wheeler, and that the pricing is maybe at its point, but obviously it's a team like the Angels and a pitcher like Urania, which is a little different in the scale in which he's being priced, but still maybe worth playing against.
A couple other items just to be aware of on the day. The Blue Jays visiting the Nationals, and we're seeing Max Scherzer back on the hill from the IL with back spasms. It's also his 42nd birthday.
Yep.
They are plus 104. Dogs to Washington. Eddie Yean on the other side, minus 125. Run total for that one is double digits. We're sitting 10. Is juiced to the under, though, at minus 115. Also, a couple injury updates to be aware of if you hadn't already seen. For the Yankees, Cody Bellinger officially on the 10-day IL. They're still holding on to that wild card spot in the AL, but the Rays firmly in first place where things sit right now. And all-star catcher Shea Langeliers, if you missed it, he's on the injured list as well with a torn meniscus. I haven't seen an update on this, but Jeff Passan was saying if he has to have surgery, he could miss the rest of the season. He was somebody who was getting a lot of calls on him for the trade deadline coming up next week as well. So that is, I'm sure, a big disappointment. Tort running the bases.
Yes, and the season for the Athletics continues to
plummet.
Wow, go down the drain. It looked like they were going to be a fringe contender. I mean, the injuries, but they had started playing like absolute cheeks before some of those injuries started to take place. So.
That's a phrase we just don't use nearly enough.
Oh, for sure.
That's a much better way to put it in my brain. This is a fun day, though.
Was it?
hopefully
It's 7-2 with the run.
Hopefully you can get there, because you only need a half
Did
run,
that throw
right?
you off? Yeah, I just need one more
Yeah,
run.
you're-
I don't think I'm going to get there though. Like they're getting
It's
contact.
not over
but
till it's over.
Rocker's cruising right now.
That's a wrap for us today, though. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place. We will continue our top 25 breakdown, teams numbers 7 and 6. So we are almost there to the top 5. We'll also deep dive into the Tennessee Titans as our NFL training camp tour continues and so much more good stuff. Stick around, though. Mitch Moss and Dustin Sweetelson up next with Follow the Money. Today's show, Richard Roper going to give you his take on The Odyssey and some other summer must-see movies. I'm actually going to see it today. I haven't seen it like 8
I
times
finally
like
have
other
somebody to
people.
talk about it with.
But
Justin
I am
hasn't
going
seen it
tonight.
yet.
Tonight. Have a great day, everybody.